It's just after 9 o'clock. We have an awesome show for you today. I have Dr. Aaron Chapa with Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center in studio. Living Well is in Leak City. They've been helping people for years now, and now's the time people need help. So go ahead and share this out if you're watching on social media. There is somebody in your life, I promise, I guarantee it. There are people in your life that need to hear this message today. It's a message of hope, a message of healing, a message of moving yourself into a better direction than you were yesterday, even if it's just like 1 degree of change. Dr. Chapa, I'm going to kick this on the FM, and we're going to have some fun. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA. I have Dr. Chapa in studio. This is Kickstart. My name's Gardy. Dr. Chapa, how you doing today?
Oh, Gardy, it's great to see you. It's great to be with those that are live with us on the social media platforms of the world. It's great for those that are listening live as you're commuting in to your debut today, whatever that may bring forth. And I pray that it's a great opportunity for you to seize the day. What is it? Carpe diem. Charge. Go get 'em.
Yes.
And we need some of that charge. We need some of that life-giving attitude and warm welcome to the day, because sometimes we live in a time now that's a little different. There's still a lot of stresses going on, a lot of things that are like plaguing our minds with negative real estate, for example, that is just taxing to our bodies. And, time is precious. Time is sweet. And so I pray that today you are just reminded to focus on those big rocks that are most important, that are going to give you the most bang for your buck today, whether it's a forgiveness message with a loved one, or a reach out, step in faith to somebody you haven't spoke to in a long time, or just reflection, just sitting back and reflecting on the wonderful gift you have today, even if it's just the breath you have. And so I just pray that, from Living Well to you, that you are blessed and you are empowered, and that you learn something great today, whether it's from me or whether it's from your work or whether it's from your kids or whether it's from your spouse. I just pray that no matter what, you're always looking for an opportunity to grow.
Yes, and then just to be that light to somebody else. We always have people ask us, hey, how can we support? How can we help? And for us, there's different ways, where you can, share the video, because I really, truly believe that. You never know, who's going to hear this message, how it's going to impact their life, how it's going to save their life, even if it's just a little glimpse of positivity that they may not have gotten today. It really does make a difference. I believe that it can.
I like what you said a second ago, and I use that phraseology a lot. 1 degree of change. It doesn't take much, right?
Yeah.
So, what are some degrees of change that you've been kind of incorporating into your realm in order to stay positive, or to stay on top, or to stay focused on the mission that you have in store for you?
So right now, the most change is like the kids going back to school. And what I have found is just making sure that I'm up a little bit earlier. That's, change-wise. It just makes the house better. It makes the house calmer. And it kind of sets the tone and the atmosphere, as opposed to like, hey, dad's, running around.
Frantic.
Yeah, frantic. Then that sets the tone as an adult in the house. And that's not quite an answer, but that's the first thing that came to mind.
Well, no, but that's great. I just made me think of a degree of change I didn't even realize we made. But I started taking off training day on Tuesday so that I could wake up with my wife. She does not get up well in the morning at all, especially at 5 a.m., poor girl.
Yeah.
And, but last night before bed, she says, hey, I'll get up and go walking with you if you at least just, make me a cup of coffee before,
Deal.
you get me up.
Right, yeah.
Well, that's easy.
Yeah.
Because I get up at 5, actually about 4:55 is I'll wake up 5 minutes from my alarm typically. And then, but this morning I kind of wanted to drag around in there, and thankfully, I've got dogs, and they're on a schedule, and they're ready to rock and roll. But man, I have truly over the last 4 weeks just enjoyed Tuesday mornings. I love the energy. My best part of my day is the morning, and a lot of times I don't have a whole lot of people to share that with, and I would love to give that to my kids or my wife. Yeah. And so for them, my wife to get up and go walk dogs at 5:15 is pretty rad to me as just a time where she can suck down coffee and we can just walk in the dark and just kind of it's that still calm, and we can just listen to each other kind of waking up. We don't even have to say anything. And so, like, however you start your day, I mean, it feeds into what we're going to talk about today. But here is, it's those little degrees of change that I think if we all start finding time to make one positive change in our life today, whether it's an affirmation that you read, if that's where you're at, or if you could even potentially write your own, because that's a practice, and that's not always an easy thing, and sometimes you don't even feel worthy to write something affirmative. But I mean, I've been challenged to write something affirmative every day, and successfully for almost a week and a half or 2 weeks now, I can't remember, but it's been good to be accountable to people in affirming the day, that I'm not going to let the day beat me up. By golly, I'm going to pick up the reins, and I'm going to control what I can today.
That's setting that tone.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an attitude, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I might not get to anything on that list that I affirmed, but I started my day right. And a lot of times when you start your day right, it might not be fulfilled in the way you thought it would be, but it's still fulfilling in a different capacity because your attitude, your tone was set right. And I think we have to remember that if only thing that we do is check ourselves from the neck up first thing in the morning, we could, or whenever you get up, however, because some people on shift work, whatever the start is to your day, if you can start it right and not let the day get you into a frantic pace right out the gate, I think that you can find a great deal of productivity, creativity. You can find imagination. You can find, self-reflection. You can find growth and development. You can find opportunities to pour into people in ways that this country, this city, this place, wherever you're planted, blooming where you're planted, needs you most.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just hope that is encouraging to people because, man, it really does. We all have a calling to be better.
Yeah, and something you said where, this place, this city, this county, where it needs you most, and there is a need for the talents, the skills, the smile that you have. Even if you don't realize it, that plays. I mean, whenever I go to the store and I check out, if I joke around or smile with the person who checks me out, that makes a difference and helps set the tone in my day.
Yeah.
As opposed to having somebody who is, who isn't. I go to a store on purpose so that way I can communicate with that person because that brings joy to my day, whether that person realizes it or not. So I hope I spread that as well.
Totally. And we've all been that person that is literally gone in a hurry, and we've all gone in a bad mood or in a mood, whatever that mood is, where we kind of have that I don't want to talk face. Well, what if you are the person behind the counter that is able to pull that plug on all that negative tension, for somebody else? Or what if you're the person that pulls the plug of that negative tension for somebody else?
What if the DMV heard this information?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's great news.
How much better would our world be? Anytime you go there, it's just kind of like the, somber, like, why is everybody depressed in here? Well, nobody wants to be here. But, spreading the love.
Dude,
bit,
I know, right? I mean, it can't be that bad of a job, right?
I guess it is.
I mean, I remember Mark Victor Hansen, he wrote this book, or it's actually not a book, it's a CD series he's got, speaking to thinking bigger than you ever thought you could. And one of the things he talks about there is he goes, I wouldn't want to do anything for 5 minutes that I didn't want to do.
Right.
As opposed to something for 5 years, 15 years, 25 years that you hated. You know, it's just not worth like not blooming where you're planted. I mean, if you're thankful for your job, because some people don't have those. And so if you have one and you're thankful for it and you bloom where you're planted, you will get more and give more to that. And I just think that is the door that swings for opportunity because somebody's going to recognize that smile. Like this couple came in yesterday, and they were not seeing me. They were seeing Molly, and they were just bubbly, and they were just smiley. They were smiling walking up the stairs, and I saw them out the window, and it was attractive. And I was like, who are those people? I don't know them. And then they sat down, and I was working with another patient, and then I came through, and they were still all bubbly and smiley. They didn't say nothing. They didn't say hi, but you could just tell there was something. And literally, I took my next person back, and I made a note then I'm going to go find out who those people are.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I saw them go where I realized they were on Molly's schedule. When they went into Molly's treatment room and got settled in, I went in there and visited with them for a moment. And it wasn't long, but it was long enough to make an introduction and to be blessed by their story. They actually blessed me with some of the great work that Molly's been doing in their life and serving them, and they're integrating the work, and their blood pressure's coming down, and their smiles are happy and healthy, their attitude, their energy's better. And, I mean, it was just cool to see, like, that energy that they brought, and it was attractive to me. It was like, whoa, resonating, right? And it was very calming, too.
Yeah, because you look at the news and everything that's going on in the world, and there's a lot of reasons to not, smile. There's a lot of reasons to be upset, and whenever you see somebody that you'd be like, why are they so happy? What is it about that person? I pray with my kids, every night that there'll be that light, and people will be like, what is it about them? What's different about them? And then
door of opportunity.
Yeah.
You can share what's lighting you up.
Even when there's nothing to be happy about, there's
something
there's something. Yeah.
Well, and so I just I just get excited about the fact that we have such a part to play. In the magic of thinking big, he talks about the world is your laboratory. All you got to do is go out and interact with it, and you can test stuff. So if we're testing the attitude, you can go out there with a bad attitude, a bad facial expression, just to test and see how much it turns people off.
Yeah.
Or you can go out there and you can be a light and you can lift people up and never say a word. That's what's so fascinating. They say, 80% of communication is in your presentation, your constitution, and not even what you say. And I think that is an amazing thing. Molly was in school yesterday, and she said, it was amazing to see how much eye contact that she was able to get with her professors. Mm-hmm. And she was, was just really excited to practice making eye contact and drawing the teacher's energy into her, because she wants the information. She wants to learn and grow. And and so if you're on a treadmill, if you're in the gym, if you're at your church, if you're at your work, if you're at the coffee bar, if you're at the water fountain, make eye contact with somebody and just lift them up with just a power of the eye. And so just again, be encouraged that you have a voice, you have an energy to give, and I pray that if it's not where you want it to be, that you'll seek help in getting it where it needs to be and where you would like it to be, because there is stuff that we can do, through biochemistry, through adjustments. This morning, I just looked at my wife. I said, "Hey, you need an adjustment," and then that just lined everybody up, and everybody got an adjustment. And it wasn't like a super fancy adjustment where I took tons of time with each person, but it was they all needed to be lit up today. So I worked on them and took care of their low back, their upper back, and their neck, and just turned on everybody's nervous system so that they can go to school and kick butt and take names. And that kind of brings us into what I wanted to share today, which is around the idea of ADD, attention deficit disorder, or hyperactivity disorders, or just memory and learning and development. And I was thinking about this morning. If I had to sum it up, I don't know that I could. And the reason being is because there's so many facets. So I thought I would just speak to some of the facets that serve the ADD patient, or the hyperactive patient, or the rapid racing mind patient. And so I just went to my supplement pantry, and I went with it with the kids in mind, and kids that can't swallow pills, and how we take care of those, because everybody associates hyperactivity or ADD with kids. And there's a new one, ODD, opposition defiant disorder, or something like that. And I just find it interesting that we keep coming up with these names of, which is in a sense, we're doing what the devil likes to do: call us by our sinful name, or call us by our wrong name, and forget that we need to lift up even the kids and call them by their rightful name. Like God sees us as Christ. He sees us as empowered. He sees us as better than we are, and he sees the potential in us and is always calling us by our new name. Jacob was called Jacob when he was a liar and a deceiver, but the Lord changed his name when he wrestled with him, when he, got that limp, wrestling with him overnight until God gave him what he wanted. But God also recognized you're no longer that same dude that came into this world. You have been changed. You've been humbled. You've come to a place where I'm going to start calling you Israel. Oh, that's cool to me. And so be mindful that you aren't listening to the lie of the name, the diagnosis. The diagnosis can lead you astray. Sometimes we are so attached to the diagnosis. My issue of disorder, my ADD, my cancer, my heart disease, my high cholesterol, my memory loss, depression, whatever. These are just names that must and will bow to the name of Christ, and that's good news. That's good news. First and foremost, the best mental, emotional, spiritual, holistic vitamin ever is Jesus. I tell patients all the time, we're talking about ADD, ADHD, and where can we start to make a difference in the ADD care case? Well, we can start simply with digestion. Oh, y'all are shocked, I know, because I love talking about digestion. 80% of all health starts in the gut. Well, that's not true anymore. As of 2006, there's a book that talks about we are 10% human, we are 90% bugs, and that 100% of every disease, disorder, process that is not something that you want in your body, some symptom pattern you were not genetically born with, started in your GI tract. That is your intestinal lining, that place for which food is broken down and absorbed and excreted, that place that needs tender love and care, ongoing forever and ever. Amen. Can I get a hallelujah? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right. That's what I like to hear. That's my preaching voice. So here we go. So we're talking about the gut. Well, first and foremost, you cannot have a healthy brain if you do not have a healthy gut. You have 3 million more neurotransmitters in your GI tract than you do in your brain. That means that gut feeling that you get, that sixth sense of knowing that you're in the right or in the wrong or need to take a left instead of a right, that place for which you rely upon instincts is 100% in your GI tract. And if that GI tract is unhealthy in any way, if it's inflamed because of the food you're eating, the drink you're drinking, or the water you're not consuming, I mean, it can go the other way. Mm-hmm. Your GI tract is potentially dry, brittle, fragile, irritated, irritable, frustrated, agitated, and guess what your emotional state's going to be?
The same.
Mirrored. The same. It's a mirror image, Gardy. You're absolutely right. Your skin is a mirror image of your GI tract. So if you've got rashes on your skin, if you get hives often, if you've got acne issues, whether it's on your back, your butt, or your face, it doesn't matter. Your skin is a mirror of what's going on in your GI tract. So if you don't like or love the way your skin is radiating wonder today, because it might be radiating pimples and acne and rashes and eczema and psoriasis today, if you like that, well, then you can change it, and that's good news. First, by changing the health and vitality of the GI tract. And so with your kids, we want to make sure, first and foremost, and with you, if this is a issue of your own, and, because there's songs that come out that say, blame it on what? On my ADD, right? Mm-hmm. I blame it on my ADD. Well, okay, sounds like we're rationalizing bad behavior. We're really attached to that name, that diagnosis. Be careful, because you might find identity in the wrong thing. Number one, psychologically, you've got to break the emotional addiction to the name and recognize that it is just a name, and it does not have or a place to serve you well in your life, in your job, in your family, in your future. And so we want to take care of the GI tract. We want to first and foremost make sure that the GI tract is moving. Are you constipated? You go, nah, I have a bowel movement every day. But what if you have dirty bowel syndrome? What if your bowels are just sluggish, 25%? Well, obviously you can't measure that, but at the end of the day, it is worth investing in your GI tract, investing in your kids' GI tract. And this is an important thing to consider when we're looking at ADD, ADHD, brain function, brain fog, mental clarity, making sure that our brain is in full level of comprehension, that we don't lose track of names, numbers, and words or trains of thought, because this happens to us all, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so we look at intestinal cleanse. I have an intestinal cleanse product. This is for kids. I brought the kids stuff today, not all, but just some, because people forget that I love serving our children. I love kids coming in. Had a lady come in yesterday, and she had her, a 13-month-old baby with her, and she was just a delight. I mean, people are worried that, oh, I don't want to bring the kid in today because of this, that, and the other, or they're rambunctious, or this, that, the other, whatever. Man, we got potato heads, we got, yoga cards, we got, we got Uncle Matt. I mean, we've got people there that will take care of, the kiddos and help us take care of you in the process. But this product here ensures that the bowels will move more gracefully if you've got a sluggish, a slow, or stopped up bowel. And so if you're not having a bowel movement every day, that is a problem that leads to trouble, trouble we don't need. And it's something that's avoidable. You can assist the body in making sure that everything runs and moves efficiently just by taking a swig of that, which is approximately a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, sometimes 3 teaspoons a day of this. And it tastes like syrup and molasses. And I mean, it doesn't taste bad at all.
Is that a fig? What's on the front?
Yeah,
figs?
There's figs in there, but there's definitely some herbs that help push the bowel, and it stimulates muscular contraction. It drives some water in the bowel, and it helps to create a washing, a cleansing effect on the intestinal tract. And this is a simple way to really make sure that stuff moves when we're looking at GI function from a level of excretion. Because if things aren't moving out of the intestinal tract, there's something that happens. It backs the toxins that should be excreted are now being reabsorbed, and they are backing up into our bloodstream, and they're going into our tissues. Well, your body likes to store toxins, if it can't get rid of them, in prime areas, your joints, and that's what drives people to have what we call arthritis, or what I like to call arthrongus, because there's nothing arthritis about it. It stores it in fat cells, and that's why people can't lose weight, because their body is full of toxins, and it stores these toxins that it can't get rid of through the bowel in the brain, and causes the brain to malfunction, to misfire, to have a brain you like that?
I got you.
Yeah, you smell what I'm stepping in. Yeah, so good. So we understand that if the bowels aren't moving, so when in doubt, make sure the bowels move.
I thought you said Congaplex it out.
I was going to, but that's a different rhyme.
Okay.
And so this is called Colacord. This is a homeopathic remedy whenever there is issues of constipation or just any type of intestinal distress. You could just have nausea, and this stuff could help. And this is just a homeopathic. It tastes like nothing. And again, I find that because there's 3 million more neurotransmitters in the GI tract than there is in the brain, something like Colacord could be just taken even when you feel good. So I can drop a little down the hatch. You should try some. It's really nice. And it's not going to make you run to the potty or anything like that. It's not going to do anything other than to bring resolution. And it is full of about 20 different homeopathies mixed in this little bottle that creates change. I have kids that will just drink it straight out of the bottle, and you can't overdose on it. You can't hurt yourself taking it. You don't have to be overly aggressive with it, but it is nice to know that it's a safe product for your kids, and it's a safe product for you, especially if you're not really somebody that's into swallowing a pill, and that's okay. Sometimes we need these liquids like the Intestinal Cleanse 3 or the Colacord. And these are great remedies to help they should be in your traveling arsenal, because people get what we call traveler's constipation, and that's why kids get sick, or you get sore throat, or people get earaches, or people get irritable when they're on travel. It doesn't always mean, for ADD, but this is step one in dealing with the ADD type situation. And so then as we keep moving forward, we have to start looking at, okay, well, these are just remedies, but what about the cause? What is causing a person to be constipated or sluggish in the bowel? And if there is a cause, can we do something about it? Well, it could be the 4 most common food allergens that I've talked about several times that drive inflammation into the intestinal tract and stress out the intestinal tract. I mean, who likes being stressed?
No.
So we try to avoid stressful situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Except we have not been taught and we have not been educated to know who are the stressful foods that we allow into our life that kick us in the pants, that beat us up, that cause us unnecessary decline, what I call accelerated aging. Nobody likes accelerated aging, Gardy. Everybody wants to live well, be well, stay well all the days of their life. Isn't that right?
That's right.
I mean, I don't think I'm making this stuff up. I mean, give us a little shout if you want to live long and prosper like Spock calls. Hey, there we go. We got the sign. And so we look at the idea of food allergens. So we look at wheat. Wheat is so adulterated. When my daughter and I walked down the bread aisle just to kind of observe the amount of breads available, there's quite a few options. And we said, well, let's see how many breads we can find that we would put in our basket. I mean, there's all kinds of breads that people love. And don't get me wrong, I love the ones that are garbage ingredients too. But I found that those garbage ingredients don't serve the well. They will inflame the GI tract. It's like putting a fire uncontrolled in your GI tract and wondering why your system is running weird, or why your brain hurts, headaches come on, or skin rashes flare up, or joints swell, or I have even people that have simply, every time they get into wheat, they get nosebleeds. You know who you are because you listen to me every week. I know who you are. And so when you get into these wheat products, it's so funny because the body's telling you, stop doing that, stop doing that. Well, we literally found one, maybe two breads on the regular aisle that were acceptable because their ingredients were not filled full of thiamine mononitrate or enriched or fortified wheats, or which are basically code words for fake food. And if you eat make-believe food, Gardy, what do you typically get?
It's make-believe health.
Make-believe health. I can't even say typically. It's all the time. You will always get make-believe health if you eat make-believe food. We were designed to eat real food and vibrant food, food full of energy. So we could also look at dairy products, milk, cheese, yogurt, sour cream, ice cream, whey protein, synthesized, homogenized, pasteurized. There's a really funny joke I wish I could tell in the air, but it's not really all overly appropriate. But it's funny about the pasteurized market of foods that we have adulterated. But it is fascinating to me to see that we are consuming this stuff by the truckload. And we have even hoodwinked people to believe that eggs are in the dairy compartment because they are sold in the dairy section, right?
Yeah.
And people think that eggs are dairy. Well, dairy typically comes from cows, and that would be milk, cheese, yogurt, sour cream, ice cream, whey proteins, creamers in your creamy dressings, things like that have that stuff in there are all potentially inflammatory. And most people that know anything about Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center or myself know that dairy products are a foe. They are not friend. They are a foe, and we should avoid them more often than not. We should avoid them permanently. We should go a time without these adulterated foods. And not just because they're adulterated in their very nature, but also because they are loaded with extra processed junk, preservatives and sugars and things that when you combine the two, it's like an atomic bomb in your GI tract. And of course, your digestive tract gets confused. And it's like, I don't know how to deal with that. I'm going to marinate on that a second. I'm going to study that for a while. And by the time the next meal comes down, it gets caked in to the tissues, and then it creates inflammation. And that inflammation continues to mess up the way the brain fires. And now we've got a kid that has a nauseated tummy going to school, plus he's irritable in school, so his fuse is short. And he's not really comprehending well because all of his blood is in his GI tract, not in his brain. And so he can't hear, he can't see. His neurotransmitters aren't firing well because they're all, got those weird agitations in his tummy. And so we then look at the next potential food inflammatory cascade from soy products or corn products. And we've got to be mindful because all the gluten-free market is all corn-based a lot of times. And not all the time, but a lot of the time. So we got to be careful because corn, too, is, one, not a vegetable. And so contrary to popular belief, it does grow on a stalk. It is in the grain category. And it, too, has been highly synthesized. We have a whole market of farming that is dedicated to growing corn because they are subsidized by the government to grow this adulterated, corn product with, Monsanto, fertilizers put on it and all these chemicals and all these weird mutations that they have done experiments on to manipulate the corn industry. And it is just a real fascinating thing. I always just say corn is really only good for two things, and that is birds and for gasoline. And it really doesn't make that good of a gasoline either.
I was waiting for the tortillas. I thought it was like corn tortillas and for the birds. But
well,
no,
it is Taco Tuesday, so I guess we could. If I was going to do flour or corn, I probably would go with a corn, and I definitely love people that do it well and do it right.
Yeah.
Not these some of these fake corn tortillas that they taste like cardboard in your mouth. I'm talking about like somebody that knows how to really do it well.
Yeah.
And then soy, of course, is 100% GMO. I mean, it's not even a genetically modified organism. It's an adulterated food that, although could, serve in the genetically modified attempt at serving the poorest places in the world, but at the end of the day, it's not a food that we can depend on long term. At some point, we've got to move away from these inflammatory foods. These top 4 foods are oftentimes big burdens. So if you find every time you suck down a cucumber, you burp a lot, that doesn't mean that you have an allergy to cucumber. Typically, it means that you have an inflammation process going on in the body, and you just happen to be exacerbating it with, say, something obscure like a avocado or a cucumber. But typically, those foods don't hurt you.
Isn't it funny how that works? Like, I can't eat cucumbers. I always have this happen, but any other food, it's just like, the
safe.
tortillas, the dairy.
Yeah.
It's like, it messes up my stomach, but it's just, it's whatever.
Yeah, but I can have,
cucumber.
a burger from a fast food joint. And I'm like, oh.
I mean, I'm guilty of that. I know a lot of people are.
And it's just interesting how we rationalize our behaviors.
Right.
And some of these rationalizations rationalize bad behavior.
Right.
So we have to be careful. So we just looking at a couple ideas. So you could also simply be drinking the wrong fluids day in and day out. That is, again, irritating the intestinal tract because it's already inflamed and you're pouring kerosene on the fire. This could be alcohol. This could be carbonated beverages. This could be soda pop. This could be any type of juice that has just got all this extra frankenfood in it. Because a lot of times people don't realize that there is high fructose corn syrup, one of the 4 deadly food additives, as well as the 4 inflammatory foods in the juice. I mean, it's been highly processed, so these things can be irritating to the inflammatory to the bowel, which then causes a blood change, a neurotransmitter shift, and a brain imbalance, so you can't think well or feel well going through your day, especially if you're a kid who really still has very much a developing frontal lobe. Like, they have to process how to manage their emotions, how to manage their feelings, how to deal with new information, how to process new relationships or changes in their day that they may not be accustomed to. There's so much that they're still evolving toward, and if we don't set them up well because we loaded them up with sugar for breakfast, for example, or juices for breakfast, and we spike their insulin, spike their sugar, and all of a sudden we wonder why they won't sit still in school, and little Johnny's over there just like, going crazy, shaking in his boots, and the teacher's going, Johnny, like, you're being distracted. And he's like, I know, I can't help it. My parents just fed me all this crazy food. Well, he doesn't know what did it. He just knows he's acting like a banshee. And so we've got to help him resolve that. And so we look to the next part, moving down the line here, is what can we do, again, to help serve the ADD or the brain fog or the mental clarity glitches or the comprehension or the names, numbers, and words that we fail to reach or grab hold of throughout our day. And that is something called Motility Pro. Motility Pro is an artichoke dandelion product that's a super cool mover of the bowel again. And so, but it's also a mover of the liver. It's a decongestant for the liver, and it's fantastic for the mucous membranes of the gut. And these next 2 products, Motility Pro and Cataplex AC, are designed to serve the GI tract. The Cataplex AC has echinacea in it, vitamin A in it, vitamin C in it, and it helps to nourish the intestinal lining. The Motility Pro, the artichoke and dandelion, do amazing things for the mucous membranes as well, in producing mucilaginous substances and decongesting the liver and helping the liver produce more bile. This increase in bile helps the digestion effects in the small intestine and the absorption rate go up. And so if you've got a bunch of trash caked up in the bowel, the Motility Pro and the Cataplex AC can act as gut thickening agents as well in increasing the constitution of the GI tract. And we have found that people that have a strong GI tract have a strong emotional constitution, and they have better learning comprehension and better learned reading skill or just listening or focusing because their GI tract is not taking up all their mental, emotional, physical energy to get through the day. We just don't appreciate blood flow because we can't see it racing around in and throughout our body. We just assume that our body is going to handle all these things, and oftentimes it will. But if in the event that it can't, the body needs some extra help, and that's where we've got to look to the two major players in ADD, ADHD, or hyperactivity, or dementia, or Alzheimer's, or any neurodegeneration, or neural development, and is looking at the bowel and the things that we can help eliminate waste and things that we can improve digestion and obviously avoid the causal agents, the foods, is looking at the bowel and the liver. Those two areas we focus on heavily when we're looking at these types of care cases because they are such key big rocks when you're looking at health and vitality neurologically, for your brain. So then we move on to, do we have any questions? I don't know. Comments, concerns. All right. So, Gordy, quickly tell us if we want to share these podcasts out, if we want to give this little gift of nutritional pearls to our friends, family, loved ones, how can they do that?
If you go to wherever you stream a podcast from, and if you are not streaming a podcast, this is the one that you need to get. You just go to Apple Podcasts. It's going to be on your iPhone. It's super easy to subscribe, or you can go to Spotify, which I'm on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So you can search Just Live Well. You can also search Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. It'll pop up. You'll see the logo on there as well, and you'll be able to go back and listen to every single one of these episodes where Dr. Chapa comes on KHEA radio and shares this message of hope and healing without the use of drugs and surgery. And this is like backlog. There's a ton. There's, I don't know, maybe like 100 or more of these that are on there as well. And so this message that we're talking about today will be up there later today. So
and that's super cool, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I just love, as much as technology drives me crazy, I also am very appreciative because this gives me an opportunity every week to come on and share insights that, if you had a question and you were on us live, you can get that question answered immediately.
Right.
And we can help you help your family today. And it's just an outlet for me to just pour information into the community and educate. We've always wanted to be at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, your number one health and wellness resource for good information, for information that is applicable to you now, today, in the moment. And so we have all kinds of tools, we have all kinds of management strategies, we have all kinds of coaching programs to help you, whether it's through food, through lifestyle, through detoxification, through knowing how to navigate the stress of the world. Give us a call, 281-554-8600, or visit us at justlivewell.com. We've got some great information and or health surveys available there where you can kind of tap in and get more insight and information. So back to our mental challenge patients and our ADD care cases. And we look at the next thing. We look at sleep. Sleep is a powerful, powerful indicator of how a ADD care case is going to progress forward or to not ever happen to you. And if kids aren't sleeping well, they're not healing well. If they're not sleeping well, they're not regenerating well. If they're not sleeping well, they're not developing well. There's things that they're missing because sleep is such an important place for them in the growth state. And so we really want to get to the bottom of that. And that could be something as simple as mineral loading. Kids we underestimate how much minerals a child needs in order to get through their day. They are developing at rapid fire pace. They are learning new skills day in and day out. And so we look at minerals as a key player in upregulating brain function, which we want to think north to south when we're looking at the ADD case, because we want the brain to integrate with the hormone. And that could be something as simple that happens during the night when a kid or adult is sleeping, is the release of growth hormone. Growth hormone helps take a little bitty bone and elongate it. You remember your babies, whenever you pull their little legs and your whole hand can encompass their ankle all the way up to the back of their knee. And you're like, wow, they have a small tibia. They have a small fibula. I know that's what y'all think. Cause,
I was going to say, maybe you, Dr. Chapa, are like, oh, look at the...
No, most people go, oh, how cute. You got little fat cheeky legs. No, but really and truly, if you think about it, those bones are little. And then as they get older and they grow, how does that happen?
Right.
It's mysteries of the mind. No, it's not mysteries of the mind. It's development. It's growth. It's because of good nutrition. It's because of water intake. It's because of good sleep. It's because that's the way God designed it to happen. But there are processes in the body in our world today where we are lacking these minerals. The mineral concentration of the ground is so depleted. We're so dependent on jarred foods or baby foods and stuff that are potentially devoid of nutrients, because they just didn't have the soil to grow in that was rich and robust. A good carrot that tastes rich and amazing should have approximately 200 phytonutrients and phytochemicals. That's a lot of nutrition, and you shouldn't even have to know what those are. You should just be able to say, hey, here's a carrot, I want to eat it. Here's a piece of broccoli, I want to eat it. Here's an onion, here's a bell pepper, you shouldn't have to worry about the concentration of vitamins, minerals that is present in these foods. But yet, if you find development issues occurring, or you see ADD, ADHD, or mental clarity challenges, or learning dysfunction, there could be a mineral glitch. The body's not able to elongate and grow. It's not able to neurologically integrate. It's not able to hormonally balance out in the prime stages of life. So, of course, there's internal discord. There's internal chaos. And that internal chaos is an biochemical stress that causes the body to internalize energy instead of have good output energy or processing energy from the outside world. And then we have attention deficit disorder. We have the squirrel model where we're over here shiny penny, over here shiny penny, over here shiny penny, and we have jokes around it. And so we want to look at minerally saturating. So we have this product called Spectramin. I have used Mineral Force. I could have used aspartic minerals. But again, I just kind of picked some of my liquid products. I had a patient that knew this company. And she goes, have you ever tried Spectramin? And I'm like, no. And she goes, it's from the same company as energetics that you use out there. And I'm like, you're kidding. And I love when I get educated. I have so many products to pull from, and I have certain companies that I trust, but I don't know every product in every line. I mean, it's impossible. And so this gal was like, I sneak this in my kids' food all the time. And I did try it straight, and it tastes terrible. But you can put this in water, and it doesn't taste too bad.
Yeah.
You can put it in a shake and shoot it down, and it don't taste too bad. And it is loaded with good nutrients for brain, for liver, for detoxification, for processing new information. I mean, it is a cool product, but it tastes just as bitter and minerally as you could imagine a bottle of liquid minerals to taste. And so, but minerals are special. Minerals are like taking your favorite utensil, your favorite beauty care product, your favorite tool in the garage, your favorite cleaning product, your favorite toy, and plugging it into the wall. If you don't have a outlet, you don't have enough minerals, and you can't power up. Minerals power you up and give the brain what it needs to function and to get into these deep states of sleep. Minerals, in some respects, can be called God's tranquilizer. And so we want to make sure that we're maximizing God's tranquilizers whenever we're trying to calm the brain. We need mental breaks to know when to say when, to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. So says Mr. Rogers in his favorite song.
He did say that, yes.
Yeah, he did. And so we want to appreciate the power of minerals. And we have minerals that taste good, don't worry. We have minerals that taste like tropical punch, and we have minerals that taste like Greek yogurt. It's not Greek yogurt, but it tastes like it. So it's like the closest option I have, I guess. But it's loaded with minerals.
If I'm taking some, I like to take two. One that tastes good and then one that's not that good. It's almost like a challenge to myself to see, like, am I better at taking this? And then which one am I, looking forward to?
And what's really cool that you're doing that, you don't even realize that is cool. You're activating the cranial nerves in your head to process the bitter, process the sweet, or just to process how your body can manage different types of flavor in your taste buds, which is healthy for neurological stimulation. And so talking about sleep, we also want to make sure that these kids are sleeping. And so minerals are an easy way to do that, but it could be something like this guy. And again, I have tons of them, but I just grabbed one that was just in front of me. And this one has a lot of Bach remedy flowers. It's got a couple herbs to manage the calming of the brain, especially at night. It's got 5-HTP in it, neurotransmitter support. It's got some melatonin in it. This is a pretty powerful product, and it's called Alpha Theta Ultra PM. I mean, can you imagine? Say that 5 times fast. And try it. Go ahead.
Alpha Theta Ultra PM. Alpha Theta... I can't. Alpha Theta Ultra PM. Alpha Theta Ultra PM. Alpha Theta Ultra PM.
That's funny. So it's been pretty awesome to see how quickly the body will respond to some of these. These are different types of treatments. When you know that we have a protocol in there for supporting the mineral deficit, and we come in and now support the neurological channeling that needs to be supported. And that's what this product can do and help manage. And we want to help, some people don't like melatonin, so we wouldn't use a product with melatonin in it. But this one just happens to be one, again, that's useful. And you don't have to, use it. But they have found great things in the 30s and 40s and 50s for people that use a little bit of melatonin just to manage some of the pineal function in the head. It helps regulate hormonal processing and calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus balance. And that's just through the pineal gland. And it's really cool, which it also interacts with the parathyroid gland that lives behind your thyroid. And so it's a mineral stabilizer. So it's kind of another way to maximize the utilization of key minerals to help put the body in a state of sleep. And I could have used B vitamins. I could have used, different people associate, some of our water-soluble B vitamins with energy, but fat-soluble B vitamins we could use for calming the body down and serving the mitochondria to go into a deep sleep. You just got to appreciate that, if you don't get up and go turn off the lights, if you don't get up and go adjust your thermostat, if you don't create a space for good sleep, it won't happen. Well, your body has to have tools so that it can, quote unquote, get up and go flip these switches and adjust these dials in order to go into a deep sleep. And you're going in and out of a state of stages of sleep every hour and a half. So there's a lot of energy required to put you into a subconscious state. And so I always say that if you're dreaming excessively, you have nightmares, you have wicked, wild, bizarre, funky, exotic dreams, that is either one of two things. You either have parasites, or God is trying to get a message to you, or you have mineral issues, or your liver's congested. I mean, actually, it's not one of two; it's one of four. And so we could literally go in any one of those doors. So, but I've always been told, and I don't know if this is theologically accurate, but at the end of the day, this is where I'm at the moment, is that if God wakes me up in the middle of the night, I'm not going to be exhausted all day long. He's going to restore the energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, to me.
And so, because why would we be penalized to get up and pray throughout the night for a situation or a cause, and then be, our whole day be wasted? God doesn't want us to be wasteful. God is not a wasteful God, is he? He's very intentional with his work. And so therefore, if we are his hands and feet, he's going to be very intentional in how he uses us strategically. So if you're having these wicked, wild, bizarre, funky, exotic dreams, although they can be interpreted probably and will be, I think, too, there's something biochemically off that we can address, or there's a pathogen in the way that is disrupting the body's ability to get into those deep states of sleep, those subconscious spaces. And if you're watching the movie reel all through the night, that is an indicator that something is glitching, if something is backed up. You're still consciously interplaying with your subconscious thoughts, and you're literally watching your brain work. And you don't realize how rapid fire fast your brain works day in and day out. And so you can find yourself in a predicament of trouble whenever you are watching these movie reels night after night after night after night and not getting that deep level sleep. And so we've got to be mindful of how we take care of the childlike brain and or our plastic brain that helps us learn new things. So if you're not getting good sleep, of course you can't expect little Johnny or little Susie to love school or to process sitting in a chair downloading new information.
Right.
And then we get into, all right, what can we do for the brain? Sometimes the brain's just running hot. Okay, so we need to come in and we need to nourish the brain. And I have a few different liquids here and supplement here: ribonucleic acid, NS Calm, and my brain herbal product that helps the brain function like it's supposed to. It helps the transcription factors upregulate inside the cell so that you get fast, rapid-fire synaptic communication and connection. You don't want just communicate and no action. You want communication, action, which would hopefully lead to us a great result. And that's where we come in with some of our, and again, I just grabbed some. We'll start with the liquid, the brain tonic here. The brain tonic is a really cool way to get blood flow to the head. Schisandra bacopa, ginkgo, and Korean ginseng. Of course, we can blend. This is a custom blend product that we made. So like if there's an herb in here that you're afraid of, concerned about, we'll change it. No big deal. And especially if it's for your kiddo, we can even add other little things to it, like marshmallow, to help kind of soothe its flavor, or licorice to kind of palate down as we transition a child into more of a bitter palate appreciation. I have this one teenager. He loves all my tonics. He will literally drink every one of the tonics that I make because he hates swallowing pills and refuses, but he'll take every one of these herbs. And I'm like, sweet. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I can still do a lot of great things. And this upregulates the synaptic firing, the communication, and the handling of that synaptic firing, the receiving and processing of information. This stuff is legit. It is absolutely awesome. You can stick a teaspoon in your water. You can put it in a tablespoon of water and shoot it down like a shot. We always say, like, we're gonna have shots at Living Well, shots with Chapa. We take some of these. These are like herbal tonics that are phantasmo in regulating brain function, processing information, learning new skills, and allowing blood flow to happen, and making sure that north-south communication is in check and firing on all 8 cylinders, which makes everybody happy, especially your teachers that are working so diligently hard to educate your children. And it's exciting. And so we want to make sure that we have that. The ribonucleic acid, as a product of restoration to the brain, works inside the cell. This stuff here, I used to prescribe only like 2 tablets a day of this until I was at a seminar and Jennifer Withy was getting tested, and we found that she needed 12 of these a day. And I go, good night.
It's impressive, Jim.
I mean, I said, Jennifer, not only is that impressive, I'm sorry that your brain has been misfiring all this time. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Just kidding. Just kidding. We love you, Jennifer. You're awesome, and couldn't do it without you. So, but the ribonucleic acid, we actually renamed Jennifer. She's probably going to hate me for saying this, but her new name, so when you see her from now on, it's no longer Jennifer Withy, it's Mama J.
It's like a Jacob Israel, Saul DePaul.
Yeah, we had to
Jennifer Withy, Mama J.
We had to rename her, and so she is a delight, a dynamo practitioner, loves learning, and just a great caregiver in serving the people at Living Well in many ways. The staff, the clinicians, the people that trust her and love her dearly, but ribonucleic acid is just one of these really cool products that has just awakened the practice. And we've known about this. I've known about it my whole career, but I didn't really tap into it until about 4 years ago at the level we're tapped in now, maybe 5. And it is just a super stellar product in turning on the replication factor of cellular repair so that the cells actually regenerate faster and or do what we call programmed cell death. They know how to remove themselves out of the equation if they're inefficient. Mm-hmm. Which I think is pretty rad to appreciate that you're playing a part just by learning a little bit about some of the tools that we have at Living Well and how to assist your body where it might be weak or lacking. And that's why we have, again, this educational programs every month. That's why we have, this educational show every week, so that you're always learning a little something more about what we do. And hopefully, in the process, why we do it. We love people. We love serving. We love the idea of healing and the power that's within the body when unleashed. And we want to help people figure that out and find that issue.
Dr. Chapa, we have a question.
Yes.
So this is from Jessica. She asked, do you guys offer Rife treatments? It's RIFE, and I said, what is that? She said it's a form of light energy. It's something that's been healing her mom from Lyme's disease. She believes it kills the bacteria that causes it. She says she's been going for treatments for 2 years, and the bacteria has almost disappeared. She has about 5 months left, and she'll be finished and disease-free.
Yep. And so I'm familiar with Rife frequencies. It was originally in the radio frequency realm. We've learned through PEMF that we can tap into some of these frequencies. We can also tap into these frequencies through light energy, like she was suggesting. Our Zerona laser, it taps into that. That is not just a fat loss laser. It's also a laser that helps reprogram the cells to function better, but also it's very destructive to pathogens. Pathogens don't like this type of activity. It's like kicking an anthill. They get stirred up. You kick them enough time, they move, and they leave, and they destruct. We also have our Soluma lasers, and these are just basic light therapy. That's red, blue, and infrared, and these help also upregulate different organ cell function or microbial breakdown, and help to disrupt the bad guys' platform of attack and strategy. And so it's like we're constantly using, so biochemistry is a form of frequency medicine. The only thing is we're taking chemistry and allowing the body to do the conversions. Light therapy is, some say, is how the neurological system communicates most effectively. That's why you can put one big light or even a small light in a swimming pool, and it will light up the whole pool. Your body is approximately 67 to 70% water, and if that is true and you're hydrated well, that light energy will dissipate immediately. I can shine a light on my wrist, or I can shine a light on my liver, and my whole body is going to get benefit. My whole body is going to go, oh, that was nice. De-inflames me. It improves my, oh no, I lost my light. Oh, there it is.
Just testing out some theories here.
So, but there are certain resonant frequencies that work better. And so the frequencies that she's speaking of, she is probably has a Rife generator, some sort of frequency generator, where she's either hooking mom up to electrodes or through light therapy or PEMF, and she is tapped in. So yes, we do use some of these therapies, and I recommend some of these therapies that I don't have but still believe in. And it's just because it's difficult to have everything. But even when in our new office, when we get down there, we will have a far, mid, and near infrared saunas available where people can get in and do mitochondrial work, light therapy work, heat therapy work, using sauna treatments, as well as a means of detoxification in the Living Well Detox Center. And that is an exciting place that's coming, and we're going to have 2 of those at the new facility. And I'm really excited about it because, a person can jump right out of there and go straight over to the foot baths. And we're also looking at upgrading some of our foot baths that will include some of the Schumann and Rife frequencies while a person's doing their bath. They'll actually be getting these balances of frequency coming into their body because people are exposed to electromagnetic pollution. They're exposed to cell phone radiation. They're exposed to technology in and everywhere through 5G, 4G, whatever technologies in their area. And this is a growing underlying potential challenge for some people, especially those people that have brain issues or mineral glitches or have high levels of toxicity that then evolve into pathogenic attack, where in this case with the Lyme, bacteria is all the more present, and now being overrun, it's attacking certain centers of the brain, so the neurodegeneration is occurring. So instead of us building the nervous system, the bugs are winning and degenerating and destroying the nervous system, and that's a lot of what this particular situation is all about, and that light therapy is a powerful tool.
Okay, here's another question. This is from Renee. She said, do you have to be a patient at Living Well to order some of the products or to even to stop in?
Nope. You can come on in, and it's not always easy to find out like specific protocols and stuff. It's easier to be a patient and to kind of understand your case. But man, if you come in and you had, say, sore throat or tickle in your throat or an earache or a urinary tract infection, we have tools that our front desk is equipped to serve you with and to support your immune system in a way that can help alleviate some of these symptoms that people are dealing with. And a lot of times if you hit it fast, like if you come in and you get it going quick, you will see a change rapidly. You can come in and do foot baths. You can come in and do Zerona laser. You can come in and leverage some of the, like when we have in our current office. When we're at the new office, the detox center is open to anybody and all. We're going to have massage beds for lymphatic treatments or just relaxation. We're going to have these massage chairs while you're doing your foot baths. So it's gonna be a place of relaxation where you can detox more effectively, and we're gonna be pumping your lymphatics to help mobilize that trash down into so the foot baths can draw that gunk out of us. We have again the saunas that'll be available. These are all tools that you don't have to be a patient to leverage, and so we just get excited that we're gonna have this in our community for people. And I hope over time it gets even better.
Anytime I've ever walked in and I've said, hey, I'm dealing with this, or hey, my kid's this, and they would, the people at the front, Matt or whoever's there, would be like, yeah, take A, B, C, D. This is what would be the first call for that. But going in and getting that full
workup
thing as well, that makes sense.
Especially if you try something and it's not working, or if you just don't really know. I mean, we just want you to give us the benefit of the doubt that, look, we can help you better if we understand your story. And we love learning your story because you're important, and you're valuable. And so it's just a way that we can dig a little deeper in order to figure out what your body needs, where your body's breaking down, and educate you on what it is that we're trying to do. I don't want you to have a pill for an ill mentality, although we can do that allopathically. I want you to understand the chemistry in, okay, I'm going to apply this concept to this situation and observe a result. I'm going to apply this concept to a situation and I'm going to observe a result. And sometimes it takes some time. And so it's not always an easy fix. Like this Lyme case, there's no way that, I could treat that without understanding the person, because not every Lyme case is the same. You know what I mean? They have maybe the same expression of disease, but their underlying condition is definitely unique to them, and they may need more minerals over here, or they may need more vitamins over here, or they need more detox over here, or not any detox and only immune support. You know what I mean? So it's just that some of these cases that walk through the door are really complex, and they need individualized coaching on how to manage. And that's okay. As long as people are okay with that. And but we have people come in all the time for just general wellness support, or hey, I got this, can I try this?
Or I heard this on KHEA, or what was the products he was talking about for the kids with ADHD?
And so unfortunately we don't have like, oh, here's like the
protocol.
Always a protocol, simply because I use a lot of things from a lot of companies for a lot of situations that even may overlap into an ADD care case.
Yeah.
But these are just things that I believe in, that I was thinking, how would I teach about ADD, ADHD to people? I don't want people just to say, oh, he just talked about he's just going to approach it from the brain way. Well, no, I might. Or he's just going to approach it from the GI tract and food. Well, I might. You know what I mean? My dad always used to tell me there's just more than one way to skin a cat.
Whenever talking about 3 or 4 of the products, you mentioned that. Well, I could have grabbed this, but I believe in this, and I just grabbed this one. There's other products that could be used.
Which isn't that good. Because not everything's going to work for everybody all the time. I had a guy come in yesterday, and he goes, I have found that I love olive leaf extract, and every time I take NK Stem, I feel great. And it's got 400 milligrams of olive leaf in there. But I have olive leaf extract and 3 other products. And he would probably like those, but this one's so good at being an antimicrobial for him. He's like, I ain't changing. I've already found something that works.
Yeah.
And that's phantasmo. And so whatever, like one of my favorite herbalists, she always would say, you've got to get into relationship with the herbs. And my wife and I, the first time we heard that, were kind of like turned off by it. We're like, I ain't getting into a relationship with no plant,
Yeah.
But she didn't mean it like weird. She meant it like, you're going to have an interaction with herbs differently than I'm going to. And so learning how your body responds to some of these plants is the relationship. So I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, chamomile marshmallow is a go-to when I want to lubricate and nourish the intestinal mucosal lining, when I want to activate secretory IgA to be produced so I have a stronger immunity in my GI tract, or I'm nauseous, or I'm having vomiting issues or diarrhea issues, and I can't take a pill because I'm so nauseated, I can do chamomile marshmallow. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain herbs that I know when in a pinch I can count on, and I'm not deviating, right? And so I teach people those things because I want people to recognize where their medicine tool chest is and how to use it whenever stuff hits the fan. And we got to make sure that people are prepared.
Dr. Chapa, can you tell everybody where you're located? Who is the clinic for? And Jessica just asked, she wants to hear more about the new location. I know it's a little bit close. It's closer to 45, but it's like right down the street from you guys, right?
It's on the east side of Highway 3 and before the railroad tracks on 518 in the heart of League City, Old League City specifically. And we have our Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. We're going to have a Living Well Detox Center as well as a Living Well Event Center. Instead of, we'll have a home for a body of people instead of having to cram people into the little house that we're in now, which, by the way, we love dearly and thankful for and will miss greatly. But the Lord is just providing opportunity for expansion and in a better way to be a light in our community. So we have upgraded the building at 322 East Main Street. You'll see it in process and progress. So when you go by there, scream out as loud as you can, "God bless you, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center," and help pray us into that facility, pray us into that building, help us win favor with those that need to be won favor with, and the challenges that they would fall. Anytime you're driving in the front, the back, just say, you know what, God bless that team and the attempt at serving and helping and being a light to the community at the level that it sounds like they want to be, which we deeply do. And but I just always receive and welcome prayers because the opportunity to serve is at the heart of a healer. And I look forward to what that office will bring in opportunity to the community. And so, it's going to be really exciting. So when it is, don't wait though, Jessica, because we want to help y'all sooner rather than later. And it's a matter of, when's the best time to plant an oak tree, Gardy?
30, 40, 50, 100 years ago, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But if 30, 40, 50, 100 years ago has already passed, when's the next best time to plant that oak tree?
Right now, today.
Right now and today. So let today be the day to seize the day like we started the day. Charge, carpe diem, go get him, Tiger, you can do this, and make the best of your day. So at 281-554-8600, you can give us a call or you can visit our website at justlivewell.com. We are on KHEA Radio every week, so tune in to the dial live or stream us constantly on our podcast media and make sure that you're always up to date on what we're doing, serving and bringing information to you, your family, your loved ones. We believe that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is, always has been, always will be, the fundamental backbone to your good and better health.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Don't forget that you can go subscribe to the Living Well podcast. Just go to Apple Podcast, Spotify, search Just Live Well.